Hello and welcome to another episode of the Take a Poll podcast. It's episode 31. Declan, how are you?
All good, all good. All the way to 31.
All the way to 31, yeah, we're flying
Got
them
our
now.
first, all the way to 31 to get our first trial today.
It took a while, but we got there.
Yeah,
We're on the big time
enjoyed
now.
it though.
Yeah, it was fun. Look, mixed enough day, I suppose. One winner each, was it?
No winner.
No winner. I'll just kill Barry Saint flying the flag.
Barry Saint. Look, some of them hit the bar. Obviously, Juno was third, and the Gavin Cromwell horse was second. You know, that was some finish to that race. Did you see that one?
Was that the handicap chase?
Yeah.
Oh, stop. That was I'd say there was in play carnage on that one. I think the winner hit like 800 or 900 in a run or something.
That was the one you were on, wasn't it?
Yeah, I led over the last and finished seventh. So which is, even though they're about 30 lengths clear jumping the second last, you could see it happening. But anyway, look, is what it is. That's racing. And we move on then, Dec, to Gowran 7 race card. Unsurprisingly, ground is testing. It nearly always is on this card, which features the Red Mills Trial Hurdle. Look, it's a race that it's the best way to describe it. Doesn't often find the strongest of champion hurdle challengers. Let's put it lightly.
No.
And then obviously the Red Mills Chase. No Fernie Hollow declared, but it's still a competitive enough field and some decent little handicaps as well as a beginner's chase and a maiden and a bumper. Will we just go straight into it, Dec, will we?
Dive in, yep. Let's going.
Dive straight in with the first. It's the 142. Sea Moon and Jukebox Jury at Burridge Stud maiden hurdle. So 2 national hunt sires that are trying to make a mark for themselves sponsoring this race. Did I have any in it? Did I? I don't think so. This is a 4-year-old hurdle. The talking horse here, Dec, is probably Larkin the Morning, who kind of got £2 from the sky. He was rated 118. He's now rated 120 for sitting in his box. It's hard to see where that collateral form is kind of coming from to make him go up to £2. Maybe you'll be able to.
Eagle Fang, was it?
It could possibly be Eagle Fang. Let's see who else it could have possibly been. Gulu Gong, who was an Aidan O'Brien trained inmate, now with Josh Halley. He's by Australian and ran in decent company last season for Aidan O'Brien. They're the 2 probably most interesting ones. Obviously, Pigeon House. He's had a lot of chances now. Probably fair to say he's not quite progressing over hurdles. And then Pinot Gris, first time tongue tie for him. Well behind Fratas and Eagle Fang, Dec last time out, but that's form that you like. Is that one that you might like here?
Yeah, Pinot Gris is the one I like. But first of all, like Larkin the Morning and Pigeon House are quite closely matched. But you're right, Larkin the Morning probably has more improvement in him. But I think that they're all going to need to win here anyway. And it is Pinot Gris I like. He was 16 lengths off Fratas. Eagle Fang was second that day. That was his jumps debut. He didn't jump great. You'd imagine his jumping's going to be better here with that little bit of experience. Now it was back in November, I think. So he's had a little bit of a break, and tongue tie is on, as you said. I think he's going to be thereabouts now in this if the jumping's better. The Gordon Elliott filly barrier. This is her 4th hurdle start. I'd imagine she's going to be short enough, having chased home the Dawi the last time out. I think Pigeon House was third in that.
Yeah, behind Pigeon House. No, I think you might have been thinking of Evening's Empire, who ran that day. It was some similar colours. Pigeon House wasn't in that race, though, now.
Yeah, but look, barrier was well held by Pigeon House and Larkin the Morning at Punchestown before that. I don't really rate the form, the Nadawi form last time out. Don't think it was a great race. Yeah, I'd be keen enough on Pinot Gris here to take a big step forward from the last day.
All right, yeah. Barrier, another Australia filly actually in here, was a bit of an eye catcher. Obviously, the Nadawi was heavily eased at the line, and was probably a little bit better value for his winning distance. But Barrier kind of came from the clouds, and she probably will pick up a race eventually, especially as we come into the summer months and these races get a little bit weaker. But you are right on the balance of form. She would have a little bit to find with Pigeon House. I think they may have crossed paths at Punchestown just before. It wasn't that race at Navan. Larkin the Morning, as you said, 120 probably sets a standard to aim at the very minimum, but you'd probably be a little bit disappointed if there isn't something in here better than 120. He could even be better than 120 himself, but wouldn't be with my money on him. And I can't go away from Wollongong, though. I'm very interested to see what he's going to hurdle now. He did win a maiden for Aidan O'Brien, was down the field in 2 pattern races, but still got to a mark for the 90s, and still, inexperienced enough to be progressing. I suppose the knock on him is usually the exciting backyard with Joseph, but Josh Hobby, relation there, possibly the vet for Aidan O'Brien or something like that. But very, very interesting that we see him rock up here. But I would probably be inclined to agree with you, Dec. Pinot Gris, well beaten on his hurdles bow, but was rated 83 on the flat. Ran a nice race. You're waxing lyrical over Fratas and Eagle Fang. Obviously, did the form like no harm either. So. Yeah, so I would probably take a chance on Pinot Gris. Wouldn't be saying Napa the top material. I wouldn't be. I don't think I'd be that confident now. But I can see where you're coming from, and I think Pinot Gris is probably the 1-2 be with here. We can move on then, Dec, to the 217. This is the Red Mills Trial. It's a Grade 3, only 5 runners. The most interesting runner by a mile here, you would have thought, is Lantry Lady, who beat a mare that you're a big fan of. The chaser for Connaught, Silent Approach, on her only racecourse appearance, and beat her handy. And Silent Approach kind of went on a very progressive upward scale, kind of almost directly after that run. So what would you rate that form? And obviously the pattern or the way she's obviously picked up a problem, she's had to go straight into a Grade 3 now, no run in just about a year. But again, this isn't a strong race at all for the grade.
Look, Silent Approach is obviously a different animal over fences, and she was hammered that day, but she's been a bit of a revelation since she's gone chasing, so I'm not sure how deep that form is. She did hammer, it was 15 lengths or something, but like What's Up Darling was 17 lengths 5th in the Royal Bond. She was second to Answer to Cafe on debut, and she won a maiden in between those 2 runs. Like, that's decent form.
Yeah.
It's form we can work with a bit better, so I'd have to be siding with What's Up Darling. Lantry Lady could be anything, but I don't think Silent Approach hurdle form is anything to get too excited about.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. It was actually 7 lengths she was beaten in the Royal Bond. But no, it's okay. But look, Answer to Cafe, that's solid form too. I wouldn't say it's form up to this grade in most cases, but this is a bad Grade 3. Like, there's not a whole lot going on here. Dying to Win be an interesting price to see what she is, because she could try and steal this from the front, but again, only rate 119. I don't know what's going to be in between them in the market, but people are going to look at that Lantry Lady form, and I'd say it is going to be maybe overbet a little bit. So I would probably be siding with What's Up Darling, despite him having to give away a stone to the mare. It is a lot of weight, but he does have the fitness edge and the experience, and I'd say he is probably the one to beat in this particular race. So we can move on straight away. This could be the quickest tap in the history of our podcast. The Full Circle Series of Punchestown Festival 2024 qualifier. This is a handicap hurdle, and this is a great incentive, and it looks like this incentive could actually bring over a lot of British horses to the Punchestown Festival. I think there was one of these at
Kelso.
There's one at I think there was one at Huntingdon or something.
There was one at Huntingdon. There was one. There might have been one more as well. I think they've 6 maybe.
Yeah, quite a few. And as per usual, it's I think it's Anthony Honeyball who has just emptied the stable in trying to get these and trying to get as many runners over as he can, which is absolutely fantastic as well. But this is a very competitive race. It's great. We're seeing full fields regularly, and we're seeing big enough fields in the UK as well. We've got 20 going to post here. We could possibly agree on the horse here, Dec, that we both like, but I'll let you take it away. What way do you see this falling?
Yeah, well, I know you were talking about the art, and he's one we've discussed a good bit on here. He is top weight, isn't he? He's in here off.
He's just about 11.
Yeah. Pound, 121. Look, he improved immensely for his hurdle debut at Nice, and he won really, really well at Cork. He showed that day he must have a big engine, because they went hard at it. I can't think of the name of the horse who was up there with him. Oh, Liz Doyle horse or something.
The Liz Doyle one, it petered away, didn't it?
Yeah,
because we both fancied it, didn't we?
Went hard. Yeah. They must have went hard, but he stayed there and he won quite well. He may have bumped into one at Down Royal in Western Fold, but he was beaten quite well. So I'm not really sure what to make of him. Whether he's a little bit inconsistent, or does he need to be on the going day? This is his handicap debut. Look, I think if he runs like the horse we've seen at Cork, he's going to be very, very hard to beat here. But I do want to take him on, and it's probably going to be with Nathan Wells. He's been competitive in all the starts. There's 3 maidens and a handicap. He was Tour de Becker Road here on his debut. He was 14 lengths forward on his handicap debut. He's up half a mile here. Look, he's shown his hand to the handicapper, but there could be any amount of improvement stepping up a trip and my handicap experience. So he's one. If the art doesn't show the form he showed at Cork, I think could be turned over by Nathan as well. I think Rebel Early's probably worth a mention as well. He's up £3 for the head second to the Capo Glory.
Yeah,
the Capo Glory wasn't beaten far the weekend in Navan. So if he was to, that was a decent race. I think that was at Cork as well. That was
the same day, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, same day as the art. Yeah, I'm almost certain it was. Yeah.
Look, if he was to repeat that run, he's definitely going to be close. But I'll go with Nathan's well.
Yeah, Nathan's well. Yeah, look, you're probably a little bit harsh saying he's shown his hand to the handicapper. He was 4th, but it was a decent enough. Like, he was beaten far enough. I think he can.
I just mean he's been competitive on all the starts, whereas we're normally looking at horses who've never.
Yeah, you want a few duck eggs, or 50 or 60 eggs.
Well, maybe he's just a good horse.
Maybe he's just a nice horse.
He's clearly better than the standard we enjoy so much.
Exactly. Party Playboy, also another interesting one. I thought he made a nice comeback behind Mint Boy. He was a winner of the novice hurdle at Ferryhouse in 2019 and was off for 1,505 days before running a pretty decent 5th. He's had 35 days off, but when they come back from absences that big, you could be very worried that they bounce. But he could be one that, if Dermot McLaughlin's got it right, he could be potentially well handicapped off 118. It's just a matter of if you want to trust it or not. Luminous Light as well in his hood, very, very consistent horse. He carries that Waterford Whispers form in that we've referenced a few times from Ferryhouse, in which Answer the Cave was 2nd. Luminous Light was 3rd in that race at 28-1, and they bumped into a plot job in Your Honour at Limerick. I think it was the 28th or 29th. The Your Honour was backed from big prices, 33s, 25s, all the way down to, I think, 4 or 5-1 to win that race. Luminous Light followed him home. He's had, I think, about a dozen starts, give or take, over hurdles, but he's very consistent and is going the right way. He should run his race again, but might be a little bit vulnerable for win purposes. I just come back to Dart though. He's a horse that I always really liked since he won his bumper. He disappointed me at Nice, but then he showed himself to be a kind of a proper horse then at Cork. The form is okay, and you are right. Like, Western Fold very much put him in his place, but the way I see it, for a start, he clouted the 3rd last. He hit it very, very hard and stayed on, and I don't think he really had any right to finish 2nd, given how bad the mistake was. He wouldn't have beaten the winner anyway, but the step up to 2.5 miles, it's looked like he's needed that, since he's gone hurdling. He even looked like he needed it when he won his bumper here around this time last year. It could have well been on this card last year, or maybe it was the one before it, the 4-year-old one. But anyway, I think there's a lot of improvement in this horse stepping up to 2.5 miles. I think they'll ride him handily like they did at Cork. He clearly has a liking for very testing ground, and he might just be a little bit above this grade. So I'd be pretty happy to side with the art. Luminous Light and Party Playboy maybe for play spot purposes, but if anyone's at the course, I won't be doing anything like that. It would be the art for me. And then Dec, it's Ellis. What Ellis?
Nathan Wells.
Nathan Wells. That's a nice name. Nathan Wells. Okay, on to the 327. It's the main event on the card. Red Mills Chase. It's a grade 2. It would have been great to see Fernie Hollow in here, but I think they blamed the ground. They didn't want to return him on very, very testing ground. Willie will have to just side with Saint Sam, who I think he fell last time out at Listowel in a match race, which was ended up being won by Visionarian. Embittered, Ivor the Boneless, Lucid Dreams running yet again. I think he's nearly appeared on as many pods as we have at this stage. He's nearly on every single podcast. And then Riviere de Tel, who also ran last week, second to Allegory de Vassi at Nace. What way do you see this, Dec?
Look, Saint Sam, he put in a very, very good summer campaign. He won 3 or 4 on the bounce. He fell in that match, as you said, against Visionarian. He was going to win that. That was at the last. Yeah. He's clear on ratings, isn't he?
Well clear, yeah. He's going to be long odds on. I would have thought probably 2 to 5, 4 to 11, and he would have been shorter if he had a run under his belt, probably. But he does go well first.
Now, in saying that, Riviere de Tel has looked back to form. She was second to Allegory de Vassi last week. She gets her mandatory £7. I'd be surprised if he's fitting well and he was turned over.
Yeah, I would as well. I actually think Lucid Dreams is interesting to an extent as well.
Many entries you got at Cheltenham.
Oh, stop! I don't know. Does John Ryan travel them? I suppose actually didn't. I say that, but didn't is it now? Who's the one that he has the hurdler?
The Little Yank.
The Little Yank. I think he ran at Kempton around Christmas time, so he would travel them. Yeah. I hope they do run him at Cheltenham. It'd be cool to see. Look, on parts of his form, he would have a chance. And they ran him in proper races, and maybe the Leopard Sound handicap chase that he ran in last time out. He did just start looking like a horse that maybe had enough and maybe could use a little break. But maybe he is also a horse that likes small fields. So, there's that excuse as well. Like, he is rated 145. He's no mug. But I think you're right. I think Saint Sam, all being well, would probably just beat these senseless. Maybe Riviere de Tel could put it up to him. But again, she only ran a week ago. No, but it would be Saint Sam. We're probably just overthinking this, are we?
I think so. Like, if he's fitting well, he's clear on the ratings.
Yeah.
He should go and win.
Absolutely.
Look, she has been back to form, but no, I can't really see her beating him if he's himself.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Moving swiftly on to the 402, it's the Gowran Park Golf Club Beginners Chase. This is over the 2.5 miles. I'm just going to put it quite plainly, Dec. I think Paul Townend's made the wrong decision here.
So do I, big time.
Here we go. Okay, so here we go. Now we're talking. So it's Paul Marvel, yeah? Nah, I'm only messing. No, Brian Hayes, unlucky. It's Aim Daisy. Aim Daisy. Look, take it away, Dec. You're probably going to think of the exact same lines that I am, so I'll let you speak.
Look, I suppose that 10 lengths fifth in that really good beginners that we talked about, probably the best performance you've seen from Corbett's Cross, since he won at Nace last year, or the Albert Bartlett. That was a really good beginners. It was Corbett's Cross, 3-card Bragg, Monty Starr, and Nick Rocket. He's only beaten 10 lengths. That's fine for him. Same Felician. He was 7 lengths ahead of Spanish Harlem. That was here when he was second to Tactical Move. I don't think that form is up to the form of the other beginners chase. He did chase home Indiana Dream before that, but we never really got to see how good Indiana Dream was. Awful shame.
It's messy race as well.
The one that he won. That was at Nace, was it, or Navan?
Yeah, Hidden Valley Lake was travelling well, and I think it was Hidden Valley Lake, and he fell coming into the home straight, I think so. Yeah, that was a messy race.
Yeah, and look, he was toured to Faso Vega before that, but there's a lot of question marks about the horses who won those races.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say there's big question marks about Corbett's Cross, who won the beginners that Dec ran in, but Corbett's Cross on his day is very, very good. If he jumps, he's fine. He's a good horse. He hasn't jumped in any other race. But Monty Starr has come out with that race. He's beat 3-card Bragg. and he's probably going to go and win the RSA. So yeah, I agree with you fully. Paul's made the wrong decision here.
Yeah, and he was a big eye catcher as well, Aim Deji. Like they were almost, there was another day in mind for him, and he stayed on really well. He actually did pretty well to only be beaten 10 lengths. As you said, Three Card Bragg hasn't been seen yet. Monty Star jumps like a buck, proper horse. Nick Rocket went on to win and was grade 2 placed in the meantime. I have a theory about Corbett's Cross. I just don't think he's a stayer, and I think he's much better, funny enough, jumping obstacles at pace like that, like we saw at Nice, and maybe even like we saw there over that 2 mile 5. He just takes too much time over 3 miles. He wasn't too fluent in the Bartlett.
He ran out in the Bartlett.
Yeah, but he wasn't too fluent before that. He was coming down with snow in his head at Leopardstown in that grade 1. And I just think he needs to be just thrown into his fences. And look, he's won a 2 mile novice at Nice. Like, he's not a slow horse. I don't know where this.
He probably just has such a big engine that they think he's going to stay all day, but he will lose races with his jumping over fences.
He will. He already has.
Yeah, well, he's fallen at Fairyhouse the last day, and he was poor. His jumping was poor the whole way round. So it was, like you said, it was big and airy. Yeah, look, I'd say you're right. That was probably his most impressive performance, the one at Nice.
Beaten Found a 50, who I fancy for an Arkle. Like, he beat a proper fast horse that day. Anyway, look, I'm completely on the Aim Deji Express here with Danny Mullins. Very much fancy him. I think San Felician will be your favourite. I'd go as far to say I'd be shocked if Spanish Harlem is ahead of Aim Deji in the betting. I'd be really, really surprised. And if he is, brilliant, because I'll just have more on. But unless there's another day.
This the last day and you got
exactly. Yeah. Well, look, it's fine. I'll put my money where I'm at. Because I'm on a second string here, not a 6-5 favourite, or with a 35p rule 4. Anyway, so that could well be the nap of the tap, unless there's anything we're both very strong on deck in the Kerry's Cottage Cup Handicap Chase. It is the 4:35 on the card. 2.5 miles again. This is a really competitive 11 runners. Bushman's Pass looking for a hat-trick. Revelin Pleasure, in the twilight of his career, he won 2 of his last 3 and was second last time out. And as luck would have it, could well be better than this grade, carrying the 11 stone 12, but has done well. And then obviously Gavin Cromwell, he must have inherited all of these horses. Bardenstown lad now with him. But Jesus Christ, he couldn't jump a shadow, could he? I'm very surprised we're seeing him over fences again. But anyway, if anyone get a horse jumping, it's Gavin Cromwell. And I've said that before with the likes of Jeremy's Flame, Bride's Hill. Look, he's got bad jumpers jumping well, so you just never know. But who do you like here, Dec?
I actually like Ardera Rue, in 9-year-old. He's won a chase off 100. He's in here off 110. That was back in October. He was second off 113 over hurdles recently. He's a horse in great form, and I think he's knocking on the door of winning another one. I do think it's going to be soon. It could be over fences or over hurdles. You're right about Revelin Pleasure. He's another one, probably in the form of his life. And sometimes when these veterans hit that bit of form, like they've generally one more go at it, and they will. They can rack up a few wins in a row, and he's done that. I think he was second the last day. As luck would have it, as you said, he could be above this grade. He was 18 lengths far to Quilixios at Nice. This is handicap debut. If he is above this grade, he probably goes and wins, even without handicap experience. But I just like Ardera Rue for this. I think there's another one on the way from him, so I hope it's Saturday.
Yeah, I would love to see that myself. I do. I think he does have a good chance. I wouldn't be. You could actually. There's 11 runners here, and you could make a very strong case for 6 or 7 of them. Like, this is really competitive. I'd nearly say this is probably a race you could bookmark and look back on as we come into the spring months, even though it is on heavy ground. Ireland doesn't have the best climate in the world. Like, we could get heavy ground at Easter very easily. So this would be a race that I would keep a very, very close eye on in the next few months. Bushman's Pass, I'd be surprised if he wasn't favourite. As I said, trying to rattle off a hat-trick, 8-year-old. Won a race that I was interested in as well, a race that was contested by Dancing Jeremy, Verdon Place, at Fairyhouse. and I think Avias Vladimir has won since. If I correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure he won last time out of Fairy House.
He did, yeah.
So that is strong form. And look, I think you'd be. I don't want to say you're overcomplicating it, but I'd imagine he's probably a 5-2 shot in a very competitive race here, given that the form he's in. I think as luck would have it, would be the one that I'd be most drawn to. I think the heavy ground, he'd have no problem with it. I love horses that drop in grade into these type of handicaps, not the proper Saturday handicaps where you get the high 130s, low 140 sorts running in it, not like a Dan Moore or or the races that we saw at the Dublin Racing Festival. This is a little bit of a lower grade, and if he is up to that kind of Saturday class, which I probably think he is, I think he will take all the beating. And he's probably going to be the slightly bigger price than Bushman's Pass, so I would take a little chance on, as luck would have it. But if anybody was following the likely favourite here in Bushman's Pass, I think he's probably going to take a world of beating. But Adara Rue Dec, I can see completely where you're coming from as well. As I said, it's going to be a race that I'm going to fill the top tracker with, probably as long as it runs okay and there's no mistakes or something doesn't fall in, or you never know though with these races on heavy ground. Dec, you're probably your favourite race on the card then is the concluding bumper. I know that you have a big fancy for this one. Just the 8 runners going to post. Look, I hate finishing with a bumper, but alas, here we are. Flash away for the Mullinses, 5-year-old having her race course debut, and then Cathedral Rocks, Gavin in the last with Declan Lavery. Third to a pretty exposed looking Familiar Dreams on her debut at Cork. Could she possibly improve on that maybe, Dec, or did you have a good look at this?
There was one I was waiting on to run. There's a horse in here called Sadie's Diamond. She was tried by a guy called Richie Rat. She was second on debut.
Okay, yeah.
She's since gone to Shark, and she did have a run for Shark shortly after that second for Richie Rat, and she was poor enough that day, but that was last year, the end of that. Well, it might have been
September. I'm looking at it here, September, 1st of September, yeah.
I can see her taking a massive step forward here. I'd say she'd be a big price. She could run a big race. I'm not saying she'd be good enough to win it, but she's going to be a different horse to the one you see in the last day, and she could be 50-1 or something and run into a place. Yeah,
that's bold, and that's what we do here. I can't believe Sadie's Diamond. I can't believe I missed that after that story. Well, that'll be one for another day. I've absolutely no opinion on this, and I'm going to pretend I know what Flashaway is going to show. I imagine she's going to be pretty short. Instant Tendance, though, what I would say, ground this testing for horses so inexperienced, it is worth a lot that she has had 2 hurdle starts and was second on very testing ground at Punchestown the last day behind Lady Bluebird. I would probably take, if I gun to my head, I'd probably take a chance on that form. But I really hope I don't need to be punting in the bumper at Gowran because we'd be in a bad place. All due respect, it's a good card and I'm very much looking forward to it. But having a punt in the mare's bumper is not something that's on my bingo card, hopefully this weekend. Finally, Dec, I suppose there's Sunday racing at Punchestown, which we aren't going to cover on this podcast. I know you're away, so I'll probably take the reins. It is probably my turn to do a few Sunday tweets anyway. And I don't want to put you on the spot, but you didn't see anything at Punchestown, or you haven't looked yet? Or
I think I got a notification for a couple in the tracker, but I don't have them in front of me.
No worries.
I'll get them up anyway. I'll get them. I'll be actually at Ascot on Saturday, so after that, I'll probably have a look at the card and I'll get them up. I'm only over there in a scouting mission. That's all.
That's it. Absolutely.
Coming up the Punchestown.
Look, it's a great card though. Punchestown. It's one of my favorite cards of the year, actually. Grand National Handicap Chase, or the trial, and then we obviously have what I want to go down and see. Actually, I'm really looking forward to seeing No Flies on him again. Winner of a Leopardstown Maiden, and as I said, I've seen many horses hurdle better than him. Or hurdle on their race course, like Rule's debut, as good as he did. Like, it was really, really impressive. And we're going to see what he's made of, because we got the likes of Tully Hill, Lombron and Jigoro in there too. So it's not going to be a walk in the park for him, even though he's by Westerner. But anyway, look, I think I'm very excited to see him. as I said, and I hope he goes and wins this and goes and hopefully maybe runs in the Supreme. If he used to miss Cheltenham, I wouldn't really care either, though. Yeah, and that's pretty much the only one I really want to see. Maybe next week, Dec will share something that we'll share a horse, or I could share it now. It's up to you. We could share a horse that will get us the war chest for Cheltenham at Leopard the week before Cheltenham at Leopardstown.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Yeah, for any eagle-eared listeners, I suppose, we'll keep a very close eye on the Barry Connell trained Snake Oil. There's a 2-mile 5 furlong handicap chase. I think it's going to be the weekend before Cheltenham, the way Cheltenham falls this year.
It is, yeah.
And we'll all have a great time and hopefully make our Cheltenham money there. So anybody that's listening is getting a little treat to keep an eye out and try and get an early price on him. It is until the 7th of March, but don't say we don't leave nuggets in these podcasts. And with a bit of luck, I will remind viewers maybe in a couple of episodes' time. Anything else, Dec, to add? Like, this is probably one of our shortest podcasts ever, but
yeah, it was a small enough fields on the card, so we got through it pretty quick. But let's hope there's still winners there. We're probably I know you're the winner today, but we're probably on our leanest spell ever. I know we nearly went through the card last Saturday at Nice, but we've just had probably a quiet enough time since then. But look, Kilbarry Saint won today, and it's mad, isn't it? We're getting a 3-1 winner, and we're a bit disappointed.
Look, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But we do have an app at the top, I suppose, Dec, which comes in the beginner's
place. Ain
Deji, yeah, absolutely. I'm pretty confident, and I think you're confident enough as well. So we'll go with Ain Deji as the map at the top for top 31. We'll be back with top 32 next week. We'll just keep an eye on our socials. I don't have the schedule off the top of my head. You might, Dec, but we'll be definitely back.
Punterstown's on Wednesday.
Okay, we could definitely have a look at that for sure.
I think Thurles is on Thursday.
Oh, Thurles Thursdays are always good. Yeah. Okay, yeah, we'll definitely
might get Tuesday night. Don't get the both of them in, maybe.
Yeah, that could absolutely work. 100%, absolutely. Right, Dec. Until then, enjoy your trip to Ascot. I'll hopefully enjoy a trip to Punchestown, and we'll see you soon for top 32, guys. Bye bye.
See ya. Bye bye.